I don't think he realized he needed to give us a thumbs up. Now he's just talking. Hold on. He's trying to talk. Do the intro, Joel. Do the intro.
He's coming to Toronto on Saturday, November the 8th for Smash Wrestling's 13th anniversary show. He's going to be taking on Psycho Mike for the Smash Wrestling World title at the Rec Room. Go and get your tickets now, smash-wrestling.com. We welcome now the one, the only Tyler Breeze. Good morning.
Hello. Can you guys see me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Unbelievable. Yeah. I thought we were waiting on somebody else. Dude, I guess I'm just sitting over here.
I saw you at one point looking down on your phone, and I was like, I wonder if he knows, because I saw also that your mic was muted, and I was like, I wonder if he means to have it like this.
No, I don't know. I never know anything. I just do what I'm told. Sorry, guys.
You're fine. You're fine.
Yeah. How are you doing coming into a busy couple of weeks for you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. The schedule is packed. November is going to be very, very busy heading into December. Lots going on, including, hi, are you coming to hang out? Including, like you just said, November 8th, Smash in Toronto. So that's kicking us off a little bit for November.
This is your first time working Smash, is it not?
It is, yeah.
That's exciting. So you're going to be taking on Psycho Mike. He's the world champion for Smash. Have you experienced Psycho Mike, and how are you preparing for a Psycho?
I have not, but I've heard good things. I was actually just added to a group chat with Bishop Dyer and Billy Gunn talking about how good Psycho Mike is and how entertaining he is. So I was told I'm going to be in for a fun time. So I'm excited. I'm excited to work with them, to go get up there to Canada and to work for Smash.
Piece of advice: find a way to counter the body slam.
The body slam. Okay. Keeps it simple. I like it.
Very simple.
I like it. Nothing wrong with that.
Is this a new group chat with you, Billy Gunn, and Bishop Dyer?
It's not a new one. We go way back because we were NXT originals. Billy was a trainer at the time. We are all close. We were close back then. We're close now. And we all stay in contact. So.
Okay, I need more information on this. What is talked about? Because this is like a kind of a mismatch of people.
It is, but it's not. Bishop, for example, is a big golf guy, which Billy is also a big golf guy. So I know they bond over that. Sometimes they also bond over just being tall, and I am not. So that's usually a thing too. And then usually just, with the dynamic of three people, it's usually 2 against 1. So it's just a matter of if you're in the 2 or you're the 1.
Yeah, that's usually how our show works.
I think they're all like that. They're all like that.
That's why you got to have at least 3 people, so you just bully one person.
That's right. That's
time.
exactly
Talk
right.
to us a little about you returned to NXT Homecoming. The week before, you came back to do the challenge to Ethan Page. But how did all that come together, and what was it like being back at Full Sail?
It was cool, man. It was weird because it was like some stuff feels like yesterday, and then other stuff feels like a lifetime ago. Where, like, again, you see, Full Sail has stuff. Again, some stuff has changed, some stuff is not. The backstage area is all exactly the same. That little hallway is exactly the same. So going back there was, again, a mix of like nostalgia and again, just, I don't know, evaluating everything of going like, man, I remember this, but then also like, whoa, that seemed like a long time ago. So, really cool. I mean, obviously, being Homecoming, having the theme of everybody who's been a part of building NXT, be a part of it. Really cool to be a part of it. And obviously, again, if you look at the original building blocks of NXT, it's hard to kind of see that without having Tyler Breeze be a part of it. So cool getting to be in it, getting to work a guy like Ethan Page, and just kind of being back in the fold is always cool.
Yeah, how do you kind of look back on that time in Full Sail, being a part of that like building blocks of NXT and the Performance Center, and being a part of that original class, and seeing where all your peers from that time have kind of like scattered around the professional wrestling world and made this big impact?
Well, and I mean, that's the big thing, right? Is if you look at that time, it was such a pivotal time going from FCW to NXT actually turning into a developmental system. And more than that, I guess, turning from a developmental system into an actual TV product, which ended up being NXT. and kind of that underground feeling of like, hey, we knew them before they were, where they ended up getting to. And that roster at that time too. I mean, it's just one of those things. They talk about the Attitude Era roster a lot, where they just go, it's not often that you have a bunch of these once in a million talents together, and NXT at that time was like that as well, where the women's division was stacked, the tag division was stacked, the men's was stacked. And as you see, everybody kind of went on to do what they ended up doing, which is, they're all over the place, and at the top and, all over. So it's, what we were doing at the time was, I guess, very pivotal in kind of where we ended up now. And the talent that was there was just hungry. They wanted to be the best. If you weren't on that show, you were, mad and trying to get on that show. And everybody was just working towards a common goal of making NXT really, really cool. And it worked, obviously, because, NXT is still around today, and it kind of went where it was going. But to be a part of it at that time was something very special, because I don't think you can replicate that, at will. It's kind of one of those things that lightning strikes and you ride it as long as it can. And then you got to hope that, you kind of stumble upon those variables again, if you can, which, again, can take years, if ever.
This show on November the 8th, the anniversary show for Smash, is this your first time wrestling in Canada since before the pandemic?
Yes.
So I was looking, speaking of NXT, my own research was saying, like, last time you were in Canada was, I think it was October 2019. And that's when it was closer to your area, to your home in Kelowna and in Vancouver.
That's exactly right. So funny enough, that was actually the last time that I went and like visited all my family and everything else. Like, they usually now come down to me in Florida. So last time I was there was 2019 when we had a show, and I was just passing through and I got to see everybody, and everybody came and watched. And yeah, I haven't really done a lot of traveling since then, because obviously the pandemic stuff happened. And then I was kind of, busy with other stuff, and I was just taking some bookings here and there. But, obviously going to Canada is a little bit of a longer trip. So I just hadn't taken any bookings really. And then now all of a sudden I kind of opened it up, and so this will be the first time since, I guess, like you said, 2019.
So have you been keeping track at all with the Canadian Indies, or just kind of looking at who's coming up in that sphere? Because, I mean, you came up through the Canadian Indies as well, right?
A little bit here and there. I mean, coming up in the Canadian Indies, I know how it is, where you're kind of, essentially in the middle of nowhere a lot of the times, where I never really worked on any of the bigger ones. So, when you're going to the Torontos and Vancouvers and stuff like that, there is indies there, but it's tough to kind of get any eyes on them. Easier now with social media, I guess. You can kind of keep track of some stuff. And especially too with, I saw Maple Leaf popped up. And they've been doing really cool. So I've been getting some eyes on more Canadian stuff because of that.
How did and Bailey mentioned this, but how did the What Would Tyler Do start? Because I feel like you were pretty young into things as well, and they were still like, nope, we're still going to do what Breeze has told us here.
So I guess it was one of those things. Like I said, it was a pivotal time with a great roster of talented, hungry people. And we were all essentially in the same part of our career, where we were all kind of trying to figure stuff out, not only try to figure out how to, become something that's marketable, something that can work, something that, can have great matches and go on to Raw and SmackDown and WrestleMania and everything else. But we were all learning how to navigate a system as well. So we were learning to navigate how to navigate the performance center, how to navigate coaches, how to navigate producers, how to navigate feedback, all this type of stuff. And so there was no real like blueprint or ways to figure things out. And it was just a matter of kind of watching each other. And even at that point, I kind of knew, like, when I was, at some point later on, I was going to open up a school, and I really liked coaching and I really liked training people. So, at the time, if anybody had any questions or whatever, they would come up and they would ask, and I would, teach them and coach them as best as I could at that time. But I think I've kind of always had like a knack for it of being able to translate things a certain way so that somebody can understand them. And Bailey and Mercedes were two, among many that, they would always just ask and ask for feedback and ask for advice and ask for everything else. And what we did, just happened to work. You know what I mean? We figured out ways to make things work and kind of get your characters to different areas and figure out the missing pieces to, you know, go on and do what you're doing. So we always just kind of worked together, and I guess they liked, you know, my advice or my coaching or whatever. And so they had a little inside joke with themselves of like, you know, what would Breeze do? And they would even at some point they would go and they'd essentially copy my matches and just wrestle like me. And I'd just go, guys, what are you doing? And they would just laugh to themselves. And it was just like a fun little thing we do on live events. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just kind of one of those things that it was cool. We all helped each other out, and, you know, we've been very, very good friends for a long time. So yeah, it's that's them. You know what I mean? Like they're nuts. They do whatever they want, and I'm just along for the ride. So
I feel like they're doing okay in their careers.
They've done okay. They've done okay. They figured stuff out.
Yeah, you have such like this reputation of everybody saying like you're the ultimate professional, but like when NXT first started, you were kind of the character worker with Tyler Breeze, and that character that you know, I did my research that you came up with yourself. When did you figure out that it was working and it was getting over with the fans and everybody else? When did it kind of like that light bulb moment happen for you that this was the thing that was going to take you to the next level?
Well, the light bulb kind of went off when they didn't fire me because before that point, I was on the chopping block several times and somehow snuck my way off of there. But it was because I was so the other way. I really went away from the character stuff. I was never like, I didn't grow up being a fan of the characters and the promos and stuff like that. I grew up being a fan of the wrestlers. I like the Shawn Michaels. I like the Bret Harts. So I very much focused on the athletic part of it. And, you know, fortunately that got me a look and it got me going to where I was going to go. But unfortunately, by slacking on the other part, the important part of stuff, it really kind of, you know, again, put me in the crosshairs of losing my dream job several times before I figured out that, you know what, quit focusing on, you know, the drop kicks and the arm drags and focus on the stuff that actually matters. And I had to transform Mike Dalton, the nameless, faceless babyface who could, you know, do some drop kicks and some leapfrogs, and really figure out something that people could sink their teeth into. So when, you know, I kind of was forced to get out of my comfort zone and come up with something, and Tyler Breeze was the one that popped up. Then I really kind of went, oh, like this is what you guys have meant this whole time. Like I've spent 3 years trying to figure this out, and this is what you meant. Like, why didn't anybody tell me this? But that's kind of what I was talking about with Bailey and Mercedes, where, you know, nobody really tells you. You got to figure out how to translate this thing to make it make sense to you. And I guess maybe that's why I have such a grasp of it, is because I had to figure it out for myself first and go, how do I keep this job that I'm not doing well at? And that was where, you know, once Tyler Breeze came around, I went, oh, okay. So this is how it's done. And then you test out stuff here and you test out stuff there. And at the time we were working all the time. We had a ton of live events. Everybody was kind of, again, you know, a part of making everybody work. So you really learned at a rapid speed of like what worked and what didn't. And then once you got in the groove of stuff, you were unstoppable. It was like, oh, this is great. So, you know, the Tyler Breeze stuff, obviously, and at that time was very different than, you know, the Nevilles, the Sami Zayns, the Tyson Kidds. It was very character heavy, but when you put it in the ring, you know, in a opener match or in a main event or in whatever, it could work with anybody. The character would work with anybody. Everybody kind of resonated with it. And it really had that hook that at the time people would go, oh man, this is like, I love this guy or I hate this guy or whatever. They felt a certain way. And that's kind of when you know that your stuff is working and it's hitting, is that you're getting a reaction one way or another. And they can put you anywhere on the card and everything else. And so that's where you kind of move into that next step of learning about how to, you know, be on a show all the time and someone that they need on the show all the time. And, you know, obviously you saw how I was booked at NXT at the time, where I was working with all the guys, and anyone new who came in, I kind of got them acclimated to the system. And, you know, anyone we kind of needed to shove towards the NXT title, that they usually worked with me first. And, you know, obviously Liger coming in and working with him. It was just kind of I became very reliable and very trusted. And I went, okay. And, you know, you just slowly build advocates, and you get things, little pieces here and there, to where you go, okay, I'm actually, you know, I'm doing okay now. I'm not in the same category as I was. And then that's when, you know, light bulbs start going off in terms of, you know, where you're at and where you're going and what you need to work on and how to help other people. So it all kind of comes together.
And that's also how you start posting things like this on your Instagram.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Just making
Well,
sure.
and also too, man, like at the time, and I might be wrong on this, but like I was never big on like, I grew up at a time where like we had MSN Messenger. So like aside from going home after school and going on MSN Messenger, I didn't have like a MySpace. I didn't really have anything. I had a Facebook at one time, but like it wasn't in the era of today where like, you know, I'd go hang out with my friends and like we were just hanging out. You wouldn't be like, hey, how do we take pictures to post? Like I didn't have social media really until I made social media specifically for Tyler Breeze, obviously, because my handles are gorgeous and stuff like that. I didn't have that. And so then all of a sudden social media comes around and it's like, okay, I can use this 100% for business instead of my personal, you know, like here, this is what I'm eating today. Like it's not that. So social media was such a pivotal point to work with that character as well that, you know, you have to kind of do stuff like that.
You're preaching to the choir because we're all around the same age of the four.
Of course.
Yeah.
You get it.
Speaking of weird things that kind of go your way, Fashion Peaks. So Matt McCarthy, who was writing for WWE at the time, I think he was also working with you guys on Fashion Peaks. And he had mentioned that Vince never kind of got it.
Yeah.
And once your segment went viral, he almost not took control of it, but certainly got more hands-on. What was the impetus of this? And like, am I getting it right? What was the story? And Fashion Peaks, let's just blow it open.
It's close. So he never actually had hands-on ever. Okay. Which I'll go more in depth on that. But so we started off, I mean, obviously I knew when I got called up that it was going to be a hit or miss. Like it was Vince is either going to love me or he's going to hate me. And, you know, obviously in a record amount of time, he did not like what I was doing. So then it was just, you know, a natural writing on the wall where I went, yeah, he's going to tag me and Dango up at some point. And me and Dango were cool, but we weren't like, you know, looking to be tag team or anything else. And then all of a sudden they tagged us up and, you know, we were essentially just supposed to be the other guys to Goldust and Truth. And they were supposed to be the funny ones and we were just supposed to be the, you know, the butt of the joke and whatever. Well, I guess what ended up happening was, you know, we ended up clicking pretty good and we ended up being entertaining. And so they went, okay, we can do more with these guys. But then it never really came to fruition. It was kind of just like, we're around, but we're not really doing anything. And it was very clear that like they weren't about to all of a sudden make things happen. So knowing what I did about, you know, WWE and just wrestling in general, where if a couple months go by and you're not really doing much, you should probably kick yourself in the ass and, you know, get to doing something. So we have a digital media team or, you know, social media team or .com team or whatever you want to call them, who they have cameras. They're there and they have cameras all the time. And, you know, people just don't use them. So I went, hey, I'm going to write a couple things and see what we can do. And I kind of wrote like maybe it was like a 3 or 4 episode skit of like me and Dango slowly turning into the fashion police. And we just got .com to film them. And it was, so I did like 2 or 3. And then we did the last one where we're finally cops. And we did it was like a good cop, bad cop with Billy Kidman. And it was hilarious. I was laughing my head off because Dango is so funny. And I was laughing my head off and we just put it out and it was just, you know, we're showing that there's something if they want to do it. And it's kind of exactly what happened where the writer of SmackDown, the head writer at the time, saw it and he went, why isn't this on SmackDown? And I went, I don't know. I said, like, you write SmackDown, so like put it on there. And the next week they wrote the first episode of the Fashion Files and put us on there. And it was one of those ones where they wrote it. It was hilarious. And we were in the writer's room. So everybody's sitting there. We're filming this one and they're all sitting right there. And as soon as they said cut, the entire room broke out laughing. And we went, oh man, like this could be really good. And so they aired it on the show. You know, it did pretty well, whatever. And Vince went, what is that? Like, why are we putting this on TV? And so everyone was like, oh, okay, like we won't do that again. So then I guess in the meetings they talk about like social media numbers and stuff like that. And they went, okay, so like, how did social media do last week? And this was going into the next week. And they went, okay, well, our number one trending thing was the Fashion Files. And Vince was like, what? He's like, we had like Randy Orton on the show and like all these other things. And like Fashion Files was number one. And he went, yeah. He goes, okay, book it again, I guess. So then they booked it again. And all of a sudden it was number one again. And he went, I don't get it. Just keep doing it, I guess. So he like, whenever they would even go over the show, they would get to the Fashion Files part and they would go, do you want to go over it? And he'd go, nope. He goes, just do whatever. And it was really funny because the writers at the time told us, they went, yeah, they're like, this is like unheard of because like Vince usually wants to know everything about everything. And he goes, he's kind of leaving us on an island on our own to just like write whatever we want. And he's not asking questions. He's not questioning it. He's just going, whatever, like people are liking it. So keep doing it. And so they were having a blast writing like all this crazy stuff, as you saw, where like, you know, the Twin Peaks episode came out and everything else. And they were just they loved it because it was just very rarely do you get to write whatever you want. And so I think it ended up being like 8 months. It was just doing so well on socials that they just kept writing it and we kept doing it. And to this day, I think it got canceled by accident because there was a pay-per-view coming up and we weren't booked on it. But they had a Fashion Files. And so Vince said, why do we have one? Like, why are we doing this? Because there's like, it's not lead. They don't have a match on the pay-per-view. So why are we doing it? And I think all the writers freaked out and they went, oh God, like he hates it. Never do it again. And then like we never did another one after that. And that was the end of it. And I was like, pretty sure it was just a mistake. Like, I'm pretty sure he just said, don't do it before a pay-per-view where they're not wrestling. But it was wild because in that 8 months, you know, Tyson Kidd of all people, he'll talk about it where he's like, I've never seen anything like it where like it's a pre-tape. It's a vignette. It's, you know, something that the fans in the arena, they just watch it on the screen. And he goes, but when you see the Fashion Files come up, they give like a clap like they're about to watch a play. And then when it ends, they end. And he goes, I've never seen anything like it. And it's by far the most reactions that we've ever gotten, me and Dango together. And it worked. It was wild, man. It was a wild 8-month thing that happened because of social media. And that is it. If it wasn't for that, it would have been dead after one episode.
I will say that's the only that kept me watching SmackDown in 2017. So thank you, and Dango, because Fashion Files was the thing to watch on SmackDown Live.
Well, hopefully you tweeted about it because that's why we.
I definitely did.
Was there a conclusion to it? Like, did you have one kind of where you wanted to go to do a conclusion before it got abruptly? Okay.
So I think in a couple of the Fashion Files, we literally like would joke about it and we go like, oh, it almost seems like we're flying by the seat of our pants here. And like, we fully are. We have no clue what we're doing next week. We have no clue where it's heading. We have no clue anything. We're kind of just going like 1 week at a time until whatever. I don't think there was never a long-term plan. Cause again, every week it was like, what did well on social? Fashion Files. Okay, we'll do another one, I guess. But they were like expecting it to cancel at any moment. So they never really had a long-term plan. It's just one of those things that kind of naturally caught on. And then, you know, it went where it went.
I have a couple here. The first one, you're an unbiased neutral party who has worked with all of these men, so I need your thoughts on it.
Sure.
Can you be twins if you are born on different days or years, but you come from the same womb?
No, how is that possible?
I mean, if you ask Xavier or the Usos, like it seems kind of possible.
I don't think it's possible. Twins is like within minutes, or like if we go far, like let's say an hour of being born. Like it can't be a separate day. If it's a day and then a day, come on, that's two different kids.
You got to tell this to the Usos and Woods. Big E's on your side, but Kofi, Woods,
Big E's
Usos,
a rational guy. Big E's a rational guy, so I can see him having a level head. Woods and Kofi. Absolutely not. This is a never-ending conversation that they would find the technicalities and poke holes in until the day that you die. Usos, I could see them, depending on the day, they might enjoy the nonsense conversation with Woods and Kof. But also, I think truly in their heart they know. So yeah, I don't know. Absolutely not. That sounds ridiculous to me.
Well,
I mean,
that's your coworkers.
The kid can be born on at 11:30 p.m. and then their twin is born at midnight. That's a separate day.
But see that's a Woods and Kofi thing. That's literally splitting hairs. Yeah, we're still within minutes or an hour here. And yes, the day changed over, but we're not like 24 hours apart here.
No,
I understand them. I understand them.
Their arguments.
Where they're coming from.
their argument was like different years and stuff because it was the same womb. They were like, no, it's the same womb. So can you be twins even though you were born in 1999 and this person was born in 2009?
This falls in the nonsense category of like, so video games, for example, Kofi, very, very competitive. If you beat him at something, you haven't truly beaten him. Because like he counts if you're the one who turns off the console, then you're quitting and you give up. That's the type of person you're dealing with. You know what I mean? That's the conversation.
That's my favorite when you guys are playing like Kofi, AJ. They get so mad if you beat them, and it rules how
AJ's
upset.
in a category of his own.
AJ will break stuff. Yeah,
and I laugh every time because it's hilarious.
And my other question off of this, one of my favorite things that you guys are doing now is the Fanatics, like the live signings during big events. Do you and Big E like ever get pulled aside of like you can't? So here's how I'm gonna set this up. Big E told everyone Rusev was coming back. That's the most favorite thing ever. I'm watching this thing and you guys are just pulling cards. He like pulls a Rusev card. He's like, here he's coming back. And you're like, what? And then like Nikki
went above it. He said, I talked to him and he's coming back.
Nikki and Charlotte will be up there like, here there's Evolution too. And then whoever the PR person is like, we can't say that. Oh, yeah. So I want to know like how much you guys are talking to him like, hey guys, like you can't be this free and loose with things.
Funny enough, zero. It's an ongoing joke where I tell E every time, I said, so like, what are you going to give away on this one? And he's like, nothing. And I go, I don't know, man. I said, you're a loose cannon on these things. Like you just say whatever. And then we just try to go from there. And then even worse is he tries to like out me with things that like people don't know yet. And I just look at him like, what are you doing? Like, no, we're not doing this. So you constantly have to be on your toes. Some of them he doesn't mean to do. And then other ones, like he's blatantly trying to do it. And you're just like, what are you doing, dude? But it's very funny. But yeah, no, it's just Freudian slips at this point.
Oh, it's so because I'll watch them live because you guys are so good. Like it's very entertaining, but you have interviews and everything, so I get little news nuggets from them. But then when Big E does stuff like that, Big E's like a scoopster out here. I'm like, what are we doing?
Dude, and that's the funniest one is we'll do our show, and then at the end of it, like immediately on Twitter, it'll already have like a funny picture of E, and then like a headline of like E tells this. And you're just like, dude, like they make the funniest headlines from stuff that he accidentally says. It's really funny.
It's so good. So good.
So when you first started playing games on like Up, Down, did you ever imagine that you would be as kind of entrenched in the channel as you are? And did you ever imagine playing, My GM? You always talk about you and Xavier in your days coming up in the FCW playing My GM. Did you ever imagine you would actually be in the game all these years later?
No, I mean, absolutely not, especially for stuff like that. So like, I think Woods even he might have said he had like the overall vision of what it would have become, but like to actually make it where it made it is kind of wild. Because I mean, the early days, it was literally just him with a backpack full of stuff. And we would just set up and he'd go, do you want to like play some games or something? I said, sure. So we just like hang out and do what we normally do. There just happened to be a camera there. And then, obviously it evolved into what it was, but he was the one who was recording and editing and putting out on YouTube and everything else. And he grew that channel into what it is now. And absolutely not. We had no clue, what we were doing at the time or what it was going to end up becoming, or, even again, playing a dead game like, Raw and SmackDown 2006, which again, it's a dead game. There's nothing active about it. It's just us. We like doing it. And we used to do it when we lived together and whatever. We didn't know that people would enjoy it, let alone enjoy it so much that 2K would bring back the whole mode and have us be the spokespeople for it. Like we had no clue that it was going to go there, but obviously, once it kind of started catching traction and everything else. And then, 2K was like, hey, we're doing this. And we're like, whoa, awesome. Like we're excited about it. We don't even care if anybody else is excited about it. Like it just gives us something new to play. But yeah, it's pretty wild but I mean, that's wrestling in general. You know what I mean? Like if you're getting into it and even the thought of, okay, I'm going to graduate high school and then go to wrestling school and then become a wrestler in WWE is a wild, way out there dream, let alone seeing yourself become an action figure or be in video games or, be a part of these things or travel the world or whatever. It's all wild, man. It's all crazy. Like if you look at everything, it's all, you can't imagine, you know, where it started to where it ended, and you know the things that happen in between, and you know, like this sitting right in front of me, I got a puck that I got an MSG from Mark Messier, and like, you know, it's just like these people, these instances that you find yourself in is just very wrestling. Everything is very wrestling, and the expanse of like where it can go is nuts, man. It's really nuts. So I don't know, man. Yeah, you can't expect anything. If anybody ever was like, "Oh yeah, I know where this is going," they're lying to you.
We got a super chat earlier. It's saying, not really a question for Breeze. I just missed the party content. Really hope their schedules are able to align again and for all four of them to get together. It was a profound impact that the party had during a time when everyone was inside and there wasn't much to do, and y'all were hanging out together. And really, my piggyback question off of this is, when will we see the return of Breeze Exotic?
Dude, we're trying, man. It's life gets wild. So like, you know, not only is, you know, like obviously Woods is on a full-time WWE schedule. He also has 3 kids. So like trying to juggle all of that. Then you've got, you know, Swiss on the other side, who's also got kids and who's also on a full-time schedule. And then you've got, you know, Cole on the other side, who full-time schedule. We all live in separate places now. Like at one point we were all pretty close. And especially, you know, during the pandemic, nobody was traveling or anything. So it was like, yeah, we could just hop on the computer at any time. But once the world opened back up, it was like, okay, well, you know, a couple guys jump over here and now their schedule is different than here. So it's like, okay, well, when do you guys want to link up? And it's like, well, Woods is busy Monday because he's got Raw. And then I think at the time I was on NXT. So it's like, I'm busy NXT on Tuesday. Then they have Dynamite on Wednesday. Then it's like, okay, well, maybe here and here. And it's like, well, there's live events here, or there's, you know, Collision here, whatever. So it's like, okay, we've got like an hour on Sunday night at 10 p.m. if you guys are available. And then it's like hit or miss, you know what I mean? So we really wish we could keep doing it because that's all we really want to do. But yeah, trying to line that up is I don't know, like Claudio says all the time, it's like trying to herd cats. Cause it's just nuts, dude. We love it. We love being a part of it. I know a lot of people enjoyed it, just as much as we did. And if our schedule ever lightens up or we're able to get on the same place at the same time, then yeah, it's always high at the priority list. We're just, you know, like I said, time is in short supply these days.
Yeah. I got to thank you personally for all the great content you guys did during the pandemic, because it was a downtime. It was tough for everybody, but like every week, like being able to watch those Uno videos specifically was like, oh, this is kind of like a highlight of my week. And I appreciate you guys so much that you were doing that and you kept me entertaining, because like a lot of people were depressed during that time, myself included. I was like, you know what, like this is helping me get through a lot right now. So I thank you, thank Woods, thank Cole, thanks Claudio, because it helped me through some dark times. So I appreciate you.
Well, I'm glad you liked it, because again, to me, it's wild, man. Like it's just friends hanging out, playing a game. So to us, it's like, I don't know if anybody's going to enjoy this. We're enjoying it, but then you guys loved it. And so we're like, all right, well, this is just, it's a double, or it's you know, we're killing 2 birds with 1 stone here. Like you guys like it, we like it, so we'll keep doing it. And yeah, you know, again, who would have thought that a game of Uno would turn into a big fun thing for a lot of people. So I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I still quote the lot of respect. Like I'm always using that one.
We would always laugh because like we would film late at night. And then when we went to sleep, it's like that day never happened. So like we would get tweets or like whatever about like, it would be whatever I beat somebody over the head with the other day. And they would go, and I go, who said that? And they're like, you said that. What? And I go, really? I said, oh, that's kind of funny. But like, we had no clue, just because it was so like, we do it and then forget about it. And then it just lived on.
Well, before we let you go, we have one game that we like to play on this channel, if you will indulge us.
Sure.
Called Partner Promo Punch in the Face.
Okay.
I pick 3 people, and you're going to pick which one you're going to partner with in a tag team match, which one you're going to have a promo off with in the ring, one-on-one, and which one you want to punch in the face, have a singles match.
Okay.
Are you ready? I mean, you got to see it coming.
I'm good.
It's Creed, it's Swiss, it's Chugs.
Yeah.
Partner Promo Punch in the Face.
Punch in the face, definitely Creed.
Fair.
Definitely Creed. No, yeah, not even I don't even have to think about that one. He would say the same. What was the other two options?
Partner, promo, punch in the face. So partner up in a tag match and promo.
Promo Chugs for sure. And partner Swiss, because I mean, who's going to beat Swiss? You know what I mean? He's a partner guy. That's 100%. Partner Swiss, promo Chugs, punch in the face, Creed all day.
Well, on November the 8th, Saturday at Smash Wrestling's 13th anniversary, you're going to be punching Psycho Mike in the face and going after that Smash World title. It's at the Rec Room in Toronto, downtown, across from the Rogers Center. 3 p.m. doors, 4 p.m. show. Get the tickets at smash-wrestling.com. Breeze, put yourself over. Tell them where else they're going to find you too.
I mean, they can find me all over the place on socials. Gorgeous with 3 M's. I believe November 8th, I am in Toronto for Smash. I believe the 21st. Oh my God, I'm going to mess this all up, aren't I? I know I have House of Glory coming up in Chicago. I want to say on the 21st. I have Mystery Wrestling in Quebec on the 23rd. And I have AIW in Cleveland on the 28th. So all sorts of stuff coming up for November. And then you can find me on Up, Up, Down, Down as well. Having fun with Creed. So I think that's probably about it.
Kicking his ass in GM mode.
Oh,
There
yeah.
you go. There you go.
Yes.
Well, there we go. We appreciate you stopping by and hanging out with us for a little bit, Breeze. Wishing you luck for the next little bit going on the road and having fun.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Take
Thanks,
care.
Breeze.
Thanks, Breeze.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
The one and only Tyler Breeze. Fantastic conversation. Go check out Smash
Very fun.
Wrestling if you're in Toronto. Go watch the show. They're at the Rec Room, like I said, 4 p.m. show. He's going to face Psycho Mike. Lots of other amazing talent on the show. This event, actually, so Steve, who set it up, Steve Argentaro, he had messaged me last night. He's like, hey, here's something cool that you should probably know. Their first show, Smash's first show in October 28th, 2012, which is today, October 28th. It featured Tarek, who was known as Alex Vega, in the opening match. The main event was Matt Cross, M-Dog versus Brett Banks. Those three guys, 13 years later, they're on the card for Smash Wrestling's show on November the 8th. So if you're around or you want to watch it, it's worth checking out. Smash has been around the Canadian indie scene for years, and they're not stopping anytime soon. So appreciate Steve setting us up with Breeze, and for Breeze hanging out with us for a little while today.
Appreciate
Yes.
Steve. Steve's been on the show before, his pal, and appreciate Breeze joining us for a while here. Good job, Joel. Good job.
Yes. Good job, Joel.
Woo! We should get him again when he does Mystery Wrestling at the end of next month.
I mean,
Why not?
I feel like I need to know more of this group chat with Billy Gunn and Bishop Tyre.
we need to talk. We'll talk to MLW. Be like, hey, can we get Bishop back?
Yeah, please give us the insights on this group chat.
Do a
that you guys got
75-minute
going
with Bishop about the group chats.
Perfect.
Breeze is a lot of fun. Breeze, I mean, we barely scratched the surface of his career, but he's been around for a while in NXT and coming up through all of that. I'm glad he gave us more insights on that and what it was like being part of that system and everything. And then we had to talk the party and video games and stuff. I'm glad because it is very funny when I watch those Fanatics things and him and Big E just say whatever. And so I was always wondering, do you guys get in trouble for that? So I'm glad he was able to.
No trouble, no direction.
The Rusev thing's legitimately one of the funniest things ever because I'm watching this thing and Big E just pulls the card. He's like, yeah, Rusev's coming back. I talked to him and I'm like, Big E just breaking news the night before WrestleMania that Rusev is returning.
I think I was walking around WWE World when they were doing this, and I didn't catch it live, but I just remember seeing either you messaged me or something, and you were just like, "Do you hear that?" I was like,
the guests are so good. KO will be on there, and I mentioned Charlotte, Nikki, Sammy's been on that. They have really good guests, so that's why I'm listening for interviews. But then Breeze and Big E will just give notes as well because of course they will. But that's a lot of fun when they do that stuff. And Breeze, he has his hands in so many different pots. Again, we could have talked to him for another hour about things, but a lot of fun.
There's plenty more over on Fightful Overbooked. Click that subscribe button, tap that bell, get your notifications. And while you're at it, like the videos, interact with them, say some stuff. We want to hear from you. While you're at it, join us every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern live for In the Weeds. You might like it.